Good
Well,
morning. Good morning.
good morning. How are you, Kay?
I'm good, Fee. How are you doing?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and to our Caffeine fans.
Yes,
Uh,
Happy
be-
New Year.
and before we get started, I just want to say you are listening to Caffeine and Conversation. So, yes, we are deciding to do something different this year as we build and we grow. So, we are
2023. Yes.
2023. We're just moving and building and going in different directions. And hopefully, we can take this platform that we've created together to newer heights.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell y'all in 2022, Kay did not want the camera on, which is why y'all saw all audio. But like she said, in 2023, we were doing something different. We leveling up. And so we
Yes.
decided to come on so y'all can see our faces.
Yeah. And yes, we have merch coming, caffeine and conversation. So as soon as we get there, we'll let you all know. I had an opportunity to meet fans this week in the streets. You know, I always try and do self promotion, so you'll always see me in one of our t-shirts or sweatshirts now that it's
Yes.
winter time. So that is to come, and we'll keep you all posted on that. And I
Yes.
think
And
and
y'all,
my buddy alluded to something that I didn't want to be on camera, but I find myself in a new space this year, at least the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks to be exact. And so I just
y'all.
wanted to be more open and share my journey with our fans and anyone who is having difficulty maintaining a intimate relationship. So we're gonna bring you all into our personal life a little bit more.
Absolutely. And I want to give a quick shout out to J Picasso Graphics, J Picasso GFX. If y'all look it up on Facebook, y'all see our design. He created this logo for us. And so shout out to my boy J Picasso because he did his thing
Yes,
with the graphics. And I think both of us have on our contacts today, but normally we wear glasses. So when he did this, of course, we had our glasses on.
yeah.
And so
Let's not forget too. We're also gonna make sure we put up his Instagram because he is phenomenal. He will not
yes.
disappoint. So if you need a logo created, and because he's very creative,
Yeah.
um, you know, give him a
Yeah,
shout
he,
out.
he
Look up
brings
his
he
work
brings
on
your vision
Instagram.
to life. He brings
Yep,
your vision to life. And so
yep.
of course, guys, we always talk about real life, but we talk about love marriage in Huntsville, and then we try to circle back around and bring it to real life. And so, Kay, what did you think about the reunion last
Um,
night? I think it was so hyped up, I think.
yeah, I think this season they're doing 4 parts. So I think
Mhm.
this was like the seasoning they're adding. I don't think, or they're gathering the seasoning. I don't think last night could have really been a miss, honestly.
Yeah.
But I still thought there were some elements that we could pull out and how that
Hmm.
relates to what we may
Hmm.
experience in our own life.
Yeah, absolutely. So the episode started off last night with your girl Mel. It used to be our
Don't stop.
girl, but your
Don't
girl.
start with her.
Okay, but this is how the episode started. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I'm just telling it how it is. This is how the episode started. So, Carlos King, of course, you saw him going into the different dressing rooms, and when I tell you, Carlos King is messy. He's the king of messy. Okay, so he started off going to the dressing rooms and telling everybody what are we looking forward to, and of course, Mel. She already stated before she even hit the floor, hey, I'm ready to go low, even if I have to go to hell. So
I'm
she
with my
already
girl
set the
Mel
tone.
though.
But when I tell you she looked phenomenal when she came out with the aluminum
Yes,
foil
she
dress
did.
on, it gave the aluminum foil look, but it looked good on her. Mel can pull off anything. I have to give it to her and Martell. They can dress. They dress to impress.
Having said that, I thought Kimmy looked amazing.
She did. She did. Absolutely.
Amazing.
I don't know what Tish had on. What Carlos King say? She looked like what in the what?
I
Supreme. He
don't
said
know.
Supremes. Yeah, that's what he
Probably.
said.
She does not dress to her body type at all.
Yeah.
She's trying too hard, and that's because she's constantly trying to compete with Mel. You can't.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the reason, but I do agree that she didn't dress to her body type last night. I've seen Tisha some cute outfits last night. I didn't like the whole Supreme look as Carlos King put it. He said she dressed like one of the Supremes. I didn't like that. But Mel showed out in that dress. Kimmy looked phenomenal
Yeah.
last night. And so she came to the stage And I know that's your girl, but she came to the stage with her resting bitch face last night, like she was on ready, set, and go. Um,
She was just on go because
she brought
anybody
all
could
the
have done it
negativity.
last night.
Yeah,
Anybody
she
could
brought.
have got it.
Yes, yeah, she was ready, and the look on her face, like I said, she said in the dressing room, "I'm ready to go, even if I have to go as low as hell." And that's exactly what she did. So the show started off with her last night, and she wanted to address Maurice's comment, right? And then she then she called him Martin Luther King Jr. So he always have a Martin Luther King Jr. speech.
And he does.
And that was I was yeah, I was on the floor laughing about that one. But
Because for me, and we always talk about this, sometimes you meet people in a space, they don't want to hear the preaching. They just want to hear, I hear you, I see you, and and a word of encouragement. But the preaching stuff, nobody wants to hear that.
yeah. Okay, let me say this because I know, we both used to be male fans and I've sort of jumped off the male bandwagon and you are still there. But Maurice made a good point. We're all doing some good things, business wise. Mel didn't want to give anybody props last night because she was bitter because of a comment that he made saying that her and Kimmy were not friends. And of course, she was bitter about that. So, of course, she made the comment, act like it. That's what she said to
Mm-hmm.
him. And so, of course, Kimmy interjected, but Kimmy made a very valid point to Mel. And I'm just curious to see how you're going to answer this because she made a
Okay.
valid point. Why is it okay when you get on your little shows? And she said you was on Carlos King recap, right? And she
Mm-hmm.
said you basically said that none of us were your friends. You basically said the exact same thing. But when Maurice said Kimmy is really not friends with Mel, then of course it becomes a problem.
I understand. I understood it. And I mean, sometimes I think it's emotions that get in the way
Mm-hmm.
and you don't see it. And she probably was operating from a place of hurt because I think they are always trying to compete. And I think things have changed, seeing that she's no longer married to Martel. And some married people are like that.
But Kay, how long are you
You
going to
can't
use
be
that for?
friends with a single person,
But how long are you going to use that for Melanie's excuse? She's
Yeah,
hurt. She's hurt.
but they're all reactionary. They all do. Someone's
Mm-hmm.
why do you care what people say on Instagram? You know the
Mm-hmm.
deal. We're trying to
Yeah,
keep the audience going.
yeah.
Especially if you can pick up the phone like, yeah, I didn't mean that. You sit there in your feelings instead of saying, hey, what's that about? I thought we were cool. And you don't give someone an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
like explain themselves just right away. You're like, damn it to hell. And fire and brimstone. I mean, that's not, and maybe that's why she says we're not friends, really. Because if you don't give me the opportunity to explain myself, I don't get it.
Well, she said that, but she got offended when Maurice said that. And that's
Yeah.
what Kimmy's point was. Kimmy, like, let's not get stuck on statements because you make statements all the time, Mel. And your statements are just like Maurice's, but then when Maurice do it, then it's a problem. And so that's the thing I think, and I do
Is this
understand where
tit
you're.
for tat? Is this a tit for tat situation then?
It wasn't a tit for tat. I think that's just how Maurice saw it. He just didn't see. Even he said, like, even though they're cool, I don't see her as one of Kimmy's close friends. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You have your friends and then you have your girls, your ride or dies. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so I think he was just speaking his truth as how he said. I don't even think he meant it as an attack. And he said that to her, like, hey, I support you. I be streaming your music, trying to support. I support you. But in that moment, I just didn't see you as one of her close or her besties or whatever you want to call it.
I
So,
don't.
and Kimmy said the best, it was no reason to get offended over a statement, especially a statement that you made. And I think that's why I jumped off the male bandwagon because, I don't think she believed what's good for the goose is good for the gander. She does things, she throws shades, she get petty. She's very petty, but when somebody else does it, it's a problem. And so I think that's why I jumped. And I truly understand she hurt, but Mel is such a queen. I wish she would just stay in her queendom and stop letting people tilt her crown. I think
Yeah,
that's the problem I have with
but
her.
that's the thing. We're all queens, but sometimes people push you, and you can only take so much before you retaliate. And
Yeah.
that's just human nature.
Yeah, but I'm glad Kimmy told her, let's just not get messed up about a statement, especially if you made the same
Yeah,
statements. But Kimmy did say, I think you're a friend. You have made phone calls, brought food, cards, flowers, all of that, and I appreciate that. And
yeah.
so, I don't know, her whole energy and her whole vibe last night bothered me. I'm just, You
Well,
know,
let's
I'm real
see. I
big on
mean,
energy.
this is one of four, so let's see
Uh-huh.
what the rest of the
Yeah.
tell it all
Four,
brings.
is it three? Are they breaking it down into three or
I
four? I thought it
think
was
it's
three.
four. Either this or I'm getting messed up on another show that's at their tell all that I watch. I like to watch 90 Day Fiance, and that
Mhm.
might be the four, but we'll see. Three, four, we'll be here to recap it.
Yeah, yeah. And so the next thing, of course, after Mel came with her negativity and she addressed Maurice, we go to Tisha and
Also
Marceau.
overdose too is either they're playing with the audience and they're playing with their marriage,
Mhm.
or there's something there that they haven't told the camera yet. But I
Mhm.
do believe there was the other woman, they'd have blown up his spot already by now.
Well, child, let me tell you, my grandma used to say, "What don't come out in the wash, gonna come out in the rinse." And I think very Marceau, I think it is something there. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think it even came out last night that he did have pictures in his phone, right? That part came out. But I think he's messing with women where they not gonna blow up their spot either. I think he's very smart. He's very calculating. You know, Marceau is not a dumb person. Everybody talk about Tish and her education, her degrees. You know, let's not shortcome Marceau either. Uh, he's very smart and he's calculating. So I think he have messed with women till they can't risk their marriage either.
Well, I'm
So
hoping he's smart enough that he is dating or seeing married women. I think this is why they always say women just do it better than men. You never
mhm,
want to cheat with someone that has less than you to lose.
lose. Uh-huh.
So don't do
Yeah.
that. That's why
And I
Martell is in the
and I
position he's
think that's
in.
why it hasn't come out yet. I don't believe in and leave it to Martell, Petty Martell, to bring to light. So, oh, he went to Africa by himself. Why did Martell have to say that?
Yeah, because he doesn't want the spotlight on himself because he was dumb
Yeah.
and stupid to
So
lose
I
such
think
a
he wasn't
lazy
in Africa
partner.
by himself. I think he was over there with somebody, married or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that's
Uh,
crazy. That you went all the way around the world so you can get a break. I'm like, okay, sir. Okay, Tish.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
And so, yeah.
Maybe he
And
was in
so,
the too.
yeah. And so they brought Kiki out. And of course, Kiki all of a sudden want to be hush mouth. But you had so much to say in Mel's presence. Now you get on the reunion show and you trying to be very careful of what you say. You try not to say, no, sis, let's go ahead and say what you got to say. Because,
Yeah.
even at they showed the little explosion between her and Marcel. So it's obviously something there they're hiding. Because Marcel said, you can do it if you want to, and I'm burning this bitch down. Do you remember what I'm saying?
But I remember that comment, but I think this is why for Mel, people say she has an attitude. Because if you
Mhm.
listen to what Kiki said last night, she said, yes, I'm friends with Mel, but it's the same reason why I go to Tish and I say, well, this is what we talked about, and so, and this what was said, because I want her to know that I am her cousin. And I thought, boy, that's terrible. That's
Yeah.
awful. And
Hmm.
if you need to be loyal and you're gonna choose your family, then choose your family and leave Mel alone because it doesn't look good.
Exactly.
And I can just imagine how Mel must have felt inside. Like she was
Hmm.
just probably felt so alone on that stage. That's
Hmm.
not cool. And that's why as you get older, you start dropping people. You don't need them.
Well,
Let
she's
them go.
basically alienated herself from the group if she feels
Yeah,
alone. But I know it has to be something there because that explosion, Marcel wouldn't have got so upset. Like, go ahead
yeah,
and tell it, go ahead and tell it. So what was it that he told her to go ahead and tell? And then even last night she was being cautious. Then it came out about the pictures, and who's sending you these pictures if you're not messing around? Random people are not just sending you, naked
correct.
pictures because the pictures were before he even had the fame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it had to be somebody you messing with that they feel comfortable enough to share naked pictures with you. Okay. And so it's
Well,
absolutely something there.
I don't know if they need to feel comfortable because it's just like some men. Men can have sex and there not be any emotions attached to it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some women, they see what they want and they'll go after it. And if that means showing some of the goods, they will. So
Yeah.
I can't, no. Women do send random pics just like men send random dick pics. And
Yeah.
fellas, no woman wants to see that, especially
Yeah.
if it's not her man.
And then
Absolutely.
even Martell said last night, it's things that we all know, that we all agree that we're not going to share. And I'm sure, what they talk about with the sex parties and the women and all that, it has some truth to it. And I think they all made a pact, hey, we just gonna keep this on hush because we're gonna blow up everybody's spot,
Yeah.
And you can tell Martell last night he wanted to say something so bad because, like, hey, I've
Yeah.
been found out, you guys are still haven't been found.
Yeah.
And you can tell it took everything in him to hold it in. And so it was just interesting last night. It was just interesting. Not a lot to talk about today. Um,
But we're gonna keep watching,
yeah,
and we're gonna come back, and we definitely want to hear from our K-Fune fans what you thought of the tell-all last night, whether it's one of four or one of three. Let us know
yeah,
your thoughts so we can answer some of your questions. And again, we're gonna have some merch, and we're gonna get a
absolutely.
website so you can find that. But one of the other things that we wanted to talk about was our own personal life and
Yeah,
starting to share relationship tips and ideas, and how do we maneuver through relationships. And
absolutely.
we've talked briefly, but I wanted to share that I am in a new relationship, and I am 55 years of age, and
Hmm.
Fee has known me for 20 plus years,
Hmm.
and I don't think she's ever seen me like this, just so open. But we've all heard of that relationship where the moment you speak to someone, or you spoke to someone, you just knew it was different. And I think I'm in that space. So I want to take our K-Fune fans on this journey with me. Um,
Yes.
Today makes 3 weeks. Our mothers introduced us, so we've started a conversation over the phone and video call. And he's in London, so for sure in the next few months after my Thailand trip, I'm gonna go and meet him in person. But this is someone that's already expressed how he feels about me. Ladies, it's out there. I never thought I'd be one of those ladies that from the moment he saw what he wanted and he went for it. We talked for a week, and at the end of that week, he said, "I want you to be my woman." And I said to him, well, I'm processing the application. And then like 2 days after that, he said, no, this is it. Um, I'm like, okay. I mean, it was like, yes, Zaddy. I'm like, okay. Let me know. So I just
So
want to
Kay's gonna share her journey of her new love, and of course,
yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
share my journey of 25 years of a relationship and some of the obstacles I have faced and am facing currently, and how I'm navigating through the storms of what you call marriage. This thing is difficult, and you have
it
to work
is.
hard at it. You have to be intentional, and so we're gonna keep it about the reunion. But right after the reunion, we're still gonna be on. And we're just going to talk relationships. We're going to talk
Yeah,
truth. We're going to talk expectations.
yeah,
And we're just gonna keep it 1K with you.
and we're gonna go through the weeks, at least myself, as I'm starting this new relationship and how it differs from every other relationship up until now. And when if your goal is to have a long, meaningful relationship, what that looks like. I mean, this is so important, and I felt like you can feel like there was something different that I told Fee that I have to get a journal and start documenting this because it was just different. And so
You
day
did.
in,
And she's never done that, guys. Never.
never, never.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what do they call it? Like serendipitous.
Yeah.
It was different. It's
Yeah.
you can't put your finger on it. And the thing is, what's important to me is that I don't feel that way on my own, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel that way on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned is what was always missing in all my relationships before now is that I was missing that component of being vulnerable. So, what I did on the first day that we spoke is I shared all my trauma. I said, this is me. I bared myself naked and raw, and we've been building on that ever since. And it's
And that's the beauty of getting naked, because when you get naked and show your truth and your rawness, you allow other people to do the
yeah,
same.
correct. And he's definitely taken my lead because we've decided, or we've going forward, especially that we haven't met in person, and he is so far away. honesty. No matter how painful it may be, there's no caginess, and it rings through when you're talking, you know. And we're talking on video, and he's telling me something that's deeply personal for someone that you haven't even met in person, but you were wanting to build a life with them. And he's looking at me, and there's no you could tell when someone is not being honest, and there's no shiftiness in his eyes. The voice doesn't quiver, and his voice still holds strength and richness and truth. I mean, I something like this can't be real,
Yeah.
but
So
it
y'all
is.
gonna have to stay tuned. Stay tuned so y'all
Stay
can hear her
tuned,
journey of her
yeah,
new
because
love and
we're,
my old love.
we're gonna talk about it, because
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I made some notes of things that I want us to talk about. When you're considering a level of commitment. And again, I was married once, and I never thought or wanted to be married again, because that was so traumatic for me. And I heard something that said, in order to consider a marriage, a relationship, you need qualities of, and I made some notes: patience, understanding, compassion, consideration, forgiveness, and selflessness. And those are components that you need, because if you're wanting to go the journey and go the distance with someone, right? You need that, because you are going to have to forgive your partner. They're not always going to do everything right. I heard this woman say, I've been with my husband for 13 years, and she said at this point our communication is nonverbal. But then there'll be that one day that he does something, and I'm like, this mother sucker, he doesn't even know me. And that's where the forgiveness comes. So this one day he didn't do something that pleased you, and you're ready to damn it to hell, and bonfire the whole relationship. And it's work,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I
So
can't wait
stay
to talk
tuned,
about this
guys.
journey.
We're
Stay
gonna go
tuned.
in deep in 2023. We're going in
We
deep.
are. We're gonna up a notch. We're gonna move up a level, and we're gonna go deep.